Hello, Storytime friends. Did you see the weather this morning? There is some snow outside. That's pretty exciting. That means winter is about here, right? And now the sun is shining. See that sun coming in our window? I might actually have to close a blind so you can see the stories. We'll see. And what else is going on? Should we do some wiggling before? I got some things on my screen. Should we do some wiggling before we get started? How about if everybody puts their arms out to the sides, take one step to the right and one step to the left. Leave your arms out. How about arms up? Wiggle your fingers up there. Arms down, keep wiggling those fingers. Okay, let's wiggle one leg and toes at a time. Stand on one leg, wiggle your feet and your leg and your toes. Stand on the other leg, wiggle your feet and your leg and your toes. Okay, touch your nose and your head, your ears, shoulders, your elbows. Should we see how fast we can go? Nose, head, shoulders, elbows. Did you keep up? That's pretty good. How much time do we have? One more minute. Who can make a star with their bodies? Legs out to the side. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing. So put your legs out like that. And then, whoa, that was too far. Silly. And then put your hands out like that so that you make a star with your bodies. Can you do that? And then a pencil. So if you make a star and then jump and make a pencil and then jump and make a star, what is that called? Is that a jumping jack? Who can do those? They're kind of hard, right? How many jumping jacks should we do? Should we try 5? Okay, so it's star, jump to a pencil. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How did you do? You did okay? You'll have to practice those jumping jacks and let me know how it goes. Today, we're going to talk about the moon. Have you guys seen the moon lately? I mean, it's getting dark a little earlier. The moon has been pretty big and bright. Did anybody know or maybe notice recently that the moon changes shapes? Does it actually change shapes, or is it just the part we can see? Because the way the light shines on it, right? So you see how the light is shining on my arm right now, right? But it's not shining on this arm because my body is blocking the light. The moon is kind of like that. The sun shines on it, and that's how we can see it. And depending upon how the moon is facing and where the sun is at, that's how much of the moon we can see at night, right? That's kind of cool. Well, I'll show you a picture. See there? Sometimes you can only see a little and then a little more, and that's called a full moon, right? And what is this shape here when it's just a little sliver of a moon? Is that called a crescent? Yeah. Okay, well, our first story, Papa, please get the moon for me. Let's see. All right. Before Monica went to bed, she looked out of her window and saw the moon. The moon looked so near. I wish I could play with the moon, thought Monica, and reached for it. But no matter how much she stretched, she could not touch the moon. Papa, said Monica to her father, please get the moon for me. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? Whoa. Can you guys see that? That is a very long ladder. Papa got a very long ladder. He carried the very long ladder toward a very high mountain. Whoa, that's pretty high. Then Papa put the very long ladder on top of the very high mountain. Up and up he climbed. Whoa. Can you see that big moon? Finally, Papa got to the moon. Do you see him down there? My daughter Monica would like to play with you, said Papa, but you are much too big. Well, every night I get a little smaller, said the moon. When I am just the right size, you can take me with you. And indeed, the moon got smaller and smaller and smaller. When the moon was just the right size, Papa took it. Down and down and down he climbed. Do you see how small it is? Here, said Papa to Monica, I have the moon for you. Monica jumped and danced with the moon. She hugged the moon and threw it into the air. But the moon kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And finally, it disappeared altogether. Then one night, Monica saw a thin sliver of the moon reappear. Each night, the moon grew and grew and grew. That is what happens to the moon. I mean, we can't take a ladder to climb up and get it, but that's what happens, right? It gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it disappears because the sun is shining on the wrong side and we can't see that light. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as the sun goes around the other side, right? That's pretty cool. But it's not really the sun that moves either, is it? It's us and the moon. We're all moving around the sun. Oh, space is pretty cool. Possum's Harvest Moon is our next story. I think you're going to like this one. Possum awoke one autumn evening. Shining through the grass was the biggest, brightest, yellowest moon. Oh, said Possum, the harvest moon. What a perfect night for a party. One last dance in the moonlight before the long winter. A harvest soiree. Possum hung the grass with lanterns and berries. Then he hurried off to invite his guests. Mice, mice, Possum cried at the meadow's edge. Come to my harvest moon party. We must gather seeds for the winter, said Mice. We are too busy to come to your party. Next, Possum peered into a pile of leaves. Out, come out, Crickets. Hop along to my party under the bright harvest moon. We are tired from singing all summer, said the Crickets. The night air is too cold now, and this leaf pile is so snug. Down by the creek, Possum found Raccoon catching fish. Dry your hands, old Raccoon, and come to the last hurrah of the year. Oh, I would, growled Raccoon, but I must be good and fat for the long winter. So much to eat, so little time. Possum followed the creek to the pond. Frogs, frogs, Possum shouted, come sing and dance under the great, great moon. Come to my harvest soiree. Too late, too late, too late, chorused the frogs. It's time for us to go underground for the winter. Possum turned sadly toward home. He looked up to the twinkling sky. "Oh, fireflies, could you come to my party?" The fireflies twinkled silently back at him. How could they work on such a beautiful night? Possum asked to himself. How can they think of sleep in such moonlight? He put on his hat and sat alone, looking up at the great harvest moon. The great harvest moon rose higher. It shone through the grass and under the leaves. It made every tired and busy creature pause. It was a moon that made them dream of dancing, of eating and singing. Toes twitched and voices hummed. How could they possibly miss Possum's harvest soiree? Raccoon rousted his crony Rabbit. The crickets invited their cousins, the katydids. The mice brought the moles. The peepers hopped after the frogs. They hurried and scurried while the night was still young. Possum could hear squeaking and scampering from all directions. The guests arrived. They brought seeds and berries, fiddles and songs. All together they gazed up at the face of the great harvest moon. Rabbit and Raccoon settled in down by the food. They nibbled and nodded. Never, never in all our years, they agreed, has the harvest moon been so bright. No, never. The mice danced until the crickets played every jig twice, and the frogs grew hoarse from singing. The fireflies' lights flickered and dimmed. A cool breeze ruffled over the tired creatures as the moon sank low. It was time to go home. Home to dens and nests and holes and burrows. Time for winter's long sleep. Good night, squeaked the mice. Great party, chirped the crickets. Until next spring, growled old Raccoon. Farewell, piped the frogs. See you next year, said Possum. He waved until every last guest was gone. Possum curled up in his own snug home. He looked out to see the last light of the great moon peeking through the grass. Good night, yawned Possum. Good night. Did you like it? I thought you might. That's a pretty good one. Okay, I have a fun rhyme to do so that we can try some backwards counting. Do you guys want to pretend we're going to the moon? So you have to say, zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. Can you do that with me? Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. If you'd like to take a trip with me, climb aboard my rocket. And now we count backwards. Are you ready? We start at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Should we try one more time? I thought that was pretty good. That was good counting. Okay. Sorry, my computer is giving me a funny message. Okay. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. If you'd like to take a trip, just climb aboard my rocket ship. Ready for the countdown? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Really loud. Blast off. Great counting backwards. You guys are awesome. I have one more story for you. This one is called Full Moon. And the full moon is when the moon is a big full circle, right? Okay, here we go. Full moon. For my birthday, Grandma sent me a crystal globe of the city where she lives. If you look carefully, maybe you can see me, she wrote. I looked, but I couldn't find her. Before going to bed, I made a wish that I'd get to visit Grandma real soon. Late that night, I awoke to find a full moon. Do you see it? Glowing in a starry sky. I whipped back my fishing rod and cast it to the moon. To Grandma, I shouted. The moon lifted me high, carrying me off to that magical city beyond the mountains, prairies, and rivers. The city greeted me with swooping roller coasters. Passengers rode to and fro, shrieking with delight. What's happening? I asked, but the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. I sailed over a park where animals roamed and played. Are you coming with us? The giraffe asked. Coming where? I asked, but the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. Two enchanted ladies floated and danced over a wide avenue as musicians played a bright tune. I'm looking for my grandma, I told them. One of the ladies waved. I just saw her strolling by. Do you know where she was going? I asked. But the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. Stone lions woke by the library steps and watched as I flew by. You're just in time, one called. In time for what? I asked, but the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. Flying cowboys roped faded stars from the sky. One cowboy smiled as I drifted past. Every star must be polished bright for the party, he said. Where's the party? I asked, but the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. Water towers atop tall buildings blasted into the night. See you soon, a boy shouted to me. When? I asked. How soon? But the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. Tightrope walkers balanced on wires between the city's tall buildings. Time to be off to the party, the elephants cheered. What kind of party? I asked. But the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. The moon pulled me past people with fantastic wings. They soared through the sky like great birds. You're almost there, a man told me. Almost where? I asked, but the moon lifted me away before I got an answer. Onward I flew beyond the big city, down a river, and off to the harbor island where the great green lady held a torch that lit the night sky. Happy birthday, my new friends cheered. Music played, animals sang, and everyone danced under the stars. And there, riding on the back of an African elephant, was Grandma. Please, moon, can you stop? I asked. Please, let's stay for my party. And the moon stood still in the sky and let me down. I gave Grandma a hug and a kiss and a big wide smile. I thanked her for the gift and the swell party. Grandma held me tight and kissed the top of my head. Happy birthday, she whispered in my ear. Have a good night's rest. She gave me a wink and a blink, and I quickly fell asleep. The next morning, I woke in my bed. I took my special gift and gave it a shake. The stars twinkled inside, and when I carefully peered into that crystal globe, sure enough, there was Grandma riding over the magical city on the back of an African elephant. That was kind of a lot of fun. That boy had a fun dream. Okay, friends, we're almost to the end of our story time, but I wanted to encourage you to make a special moon project. Your moon can be a big full moon with craters on it. Your moon could be the man in the moon or the man on the moon. Your moon could be just a little crescent. Maybe you could practice making that shape. Whatever you choose to do, I'd love it if you shared it with me, either next time you come by or send me a picture. It was really good to do story time with you, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye for now.